Welcome back to Dandrew, everybody. Okay, Drew just had a seizure.
I'm excited to talk about this.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate, and our shirts are kind of matching.
Kind of.
And
Mine doesn't have a sheep face or...
our jeans are matching.
Yes.
As most jeans do.
I have no shoes.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about the Star Wars prequels. This is a topic idea that Drew had, and I feel like he has something he really wants to say about it.
I do, because I have so many questions, and I'm curious about your opinion, because you and me haven't really talked about this in a while.
We really haven't. I'm
because they are very controversial, sort of.
That's putting it lightly.
Very, like, cornerstone of the film universe, like...
They make film history in the... do not do this if you want to be a good filmmaker.
What not to do
Yeah.
in your science fiction universe.
Like, for instance, if the decision comes to a crossroads whether you should focus on the script or staring at a variety of alien heads for 20 hours straight, you should probably just focus on the script.
Right, which the common belief, I think, on the internet at least, is bad.
Yes.
I think that's what we all know.
Anybody who says the prequels are good or like schizophrenics,
Denialists.
yeah, there you go.
They're refused, and I know them.
They're on the.
There are people serving in our military who think the prequels are good.
They're on the same level as flat earthers.
Really?
Yeah.
If you like the prequels, you're no better than.
You may as well
Wow.
believe we're on a sheet of paper.
That'd be a great little subtext in the thumbnail. Like, you deny science if you hate the prequels. No,
if
but
you like the prequels, you deny science.
Exactly. So a better question is, are they? There's so many questions to start with. Okay, let me just throw one out there. Would Star Wars be what it is today if it weren't for the prequels?
I'm gonna go ahead and say no.
How so? How would they?
Well, because.
Not be?
Well, I have a feeling that if George Lucas never had that colossal train wreck or 15 of a trilogy, then we would not have people who years down the road would be like, hey, maybe we make a Star Wars movie that has a good story.
Right, yeah, Force Awakens.
Yeah, so it's a ripple effect.
As in order to make something great, we first had to fall.
Exactly.
As in, could episode... I guess it wouldn't be called 7. Could the real episode 4, which would have been Force Awakens, be as significant if it were not for the prequels?
Right.
So it's like, it's kind of, when you love someone, you accept all of them. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, yes, there's a lot of things you like about them, but of course, in a relationship, there's lots of things you don't like about them. Of course. And as you grow more attached, you realize their faults. Mm-hmm. Now, don't apply this to Star Wars.
Yeah.
However,
better yet, don't have a relationship with Star Wars. Go outside. Please find
someone you care about.
There's 7 billion people on this planet. Don't let yourself be deterred because you think there's no one.
Also,
Hitler had a wife.
Ooh.
You'll be fine.
We got Goodwin's Law, just right out the door.
I always read it as Godwin's. Is there 2 O's?
I think it's Goodwin's.
Point being, go find someone you can love.
And if you're in a relationship, don't use Star Wars as an example.
Yes.
Regardless,
I mean, if you want to,
people love Star Wars despite its crap, and that in return make it more lovable because it shows that they have relentless, shameless love. They're like, I know it was bad, it was awkward, and it kind of messes up the continuity with Star Wars,
but everything has a bad moment, basically.
It is from George Lucas, which means that...
Well, when you say, like, it is from George Lucas, that makes me want to stab myself with the Hobbit sword behind you.
Right, but, like, how can you deny that it's not
if
his
you say,
creation, right?
If you just... Well, kind of, yeah, but we have that... I think we talked about this at some point, about how we're not sure if we really should, like, give him credit or give whoever was helping him.
It's a good point.
Yeah, because a lot of the stuff that we have the most problems with in the original trilogy was just his total control.
Right.
So it's like, who is giving him direction and telling him what to do? Because that's what I want to know.
Like, he has an idea of Star Wars that he was trying to achieve, and with A New Hope, which at the time was just called The Star Wars, he didn't achieve what he was going for.
Right.
But we fell in love with what everyone corrected it with. Like all these editors or other people that were influencing him said, no, George, don't do that.
Yeah.
That's a bad idea. Don't do that. And here's what we got. And they fixed it as much as they could, and it turned out to be the largest pop culture phenomenon of all time.
I think George Lucas is like... Okay, this is... I have to make a really offhanded comparison to a graphic novel.
Okay.
Because there's one issue of The Sandman where this man really... Like, he needs inspiration, right? Mm-hmm. And he has no idea how to get it. And so they managed to capture like an actual muse. Like, I think it was like some Greek goddess or something like that. It's like, all right, here, take her, do what you will. Uh-huh. And this guy is like, gets all kinds of inspired just by like having her within like a certain radius around him, basically.
Gotcha.
Because it's a constant funnel of ideas.
Fixes writer's block.
Now, I'm not saying we should keep George Lucas chained to a radiator, but I am saying we should, if we're gonna use him at all, just use him for like short ideas you can spin off of.
One sentence ideas.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Star Wars is a one sentence idea. Well, it could be.
Maybe like a short essay. No, a short text crawl of an idea.
Exactly. Luke Skywalker is trying to stop the Empire.
Yes.
From defeating the rebellion.
Yes.
There's your basic plot that George Lucas can have control over. But in terms of the script and developing characters, I do think what we love about Star Wars was created by other people. Lawrence Kasdan, the other directors, the editors of Empire and A New Hope. And with Return of the Jedi, I think we get a bit more Lucas involvement. Right. Because now he has all this power.
And now there's always cuddly teddy bears everywhere. And
right, it's because I think he's a businessman first. And so when he's designing Star Wars, he's like, how do I turn this into a toy that can be sold? Which,
as was common practice in the 80s and 70s.
Yeah. I mean that's what it is at the end of the day. You're trying to make a story that
sells. Marketing is important.
Right, and when you've got the most popular one, you feel like... But at the same time, I'm curious if... I think about how... Do we really need to... The protagonist of... I just started like 5 sentences just now. The original Star Wars trilogy was about Luke Skywalker. Right. He was the protagonist. We related to him. Was there a need to make 3 more films about Anakin Skywalker? Because...
Probably not.
That's what the whole prequels were based around. And in a way, they kind of restructure the entire franchise to be about Anakin.
Right. Which is not a good thing.
I mean, scary Lord Emperor.
I feel like...
That's all you need.
I almost feel like the prequels are kind of like a shared protagonist thing between Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Well, I think it should have been Obi-Wan. I just felt like...
Oh, yeah. No, I would be fine if it was just Obi-Wan altogether, because Ewan McGregor was great.
Right.
I think he's like the one thing we can all universally agree was amazing about the prequels.
He was the best part of the prequels. There are definitely redeemable things.
Yeah, there's a few redeemable things.
He is one of them.
He is... like a big one. Like if there's a top 5 list, he probably takes up 4 slots.
Right. I think a lot of what we'd say is good about the prequels was the cast.
Yeah.
I would say
they
most
had
of the
some
cast.
Star power.
Yeah.
They had some major star power going on.
I feel like Hayden Christensen was hated on because of poor writing more than performance.
I don't think he was he himself bad. I think he was just a victim of Lucas's ADD, not knowing what the hell he should be doing.
Because the performance, I think, of Anakin was good. It was just the words he was saying didn't make... Well, they made sense, but they were so juvenile.
I think that the Nostalgia Critic made a good point of this was when he was talking about his 11 things that he thought was good. He honestly did think that when Hayden Christensen just kept his mouth shut, and there were times where he had to be menacing, he could be damned menacing.
Oh, yeah.
He needed to.
He had that look.
He had that, like, psychotic, transitioning to Vader kind of thing. It's like, all right, so
that was a good choice.
That was a good choice.
You can't spin in a good way. I hate sand.
Yeah. Don't
make me kill you. And if you're not with me, then you're my enemy. Like,
don't forget you underestimate my power. There's a lot of cringe lines. Just Revenge of the Sith alone.
We were mostly quoting that, weren't we? And Attack of the Clones, but. That was the other thing is I think Attack of the Clones is the worst of the 3 if we want to talk about best and worst. I was going to say Attack of the Clones is the worst because This is directly from Xander, by the way. You can watch 1 and then 3 and miss nothing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Think about it.
Yeah.
I will train you. Cut to them being trained and working together on a mission. What was the
point of any of this?
Only about the fact that Anakin and Padme fall in love.
I think
that's the only thing you'd miss.
But they would get that done like that, I think.
Yeah, if they just kind of showed.
The only thing I can think of that would be necessary, or not even necessary really, I mean, you could just give a random explanation about it, would be that stupid BS that George Lucas is trying to say about symmetry with the originals.
Oh, the circle theory?
The circle theory.
Yeah,
which is completely stupid. No, you're just lazy.
I feel like that's someone trying to...
Anakin, like, lost his arm, like Luke did. It's like...
It's like poetry, so that they rhyme. I think it's someone trying to make something overly complicated so that it sounds clever.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's no... This is storytelling. This isn't geometry. This isn't like, look, relations to each other.
It's not like I think when Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones were being made, everybody was looking at George Lucas like he was Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man, and he was just staring at a blackjack table. But instead of a blackjack table and winning anything, they just watched a man look at alien heads for an hour.
Yeah.
And then he just decided which ones are going to be in a bar scene for like 2 seconds.
Right. Things that shouldn't matter.
Right.
Them focusing hours on. And then there's like footage of him saying, I better start the script soon.
Yeah.
Because there's so much continuity that doesn't add up with the originals.
Right.
And to me, because I don't believe... what am I trying to think of? I feel like in Return of the Jedi, the Luke and Leia are brother and sister thing was never planned.
Yeah, it wasn't. That was
especially because they made out an empire.
That was a very left field thing.
It was like, we have to top the Luke, I am your father.
Yeah.
So they tried to do it again, and now because of that course correction, which didn't make much sense to me, they needed 3 movies to explain the origin of the father.
Right.
Which I don't think needed an origin. I think it's one of those situations
that would have been better if it was just like a mythos thing. Just like, the
less you know, the better.
Like a really dark take on King Arthur. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think it's similar to Boba Fett, and that's why I'm worried that they're putting Boba Fett in the Han Solo movie.
No!
You know what? It'll probably be fine. I bet the Han Solo movie will come out and we'll be like, it's pretty good.
I would be fine with...
Even though we all hate it right now.
I would be fine with a Boba Fett movie. Or something like... Or, okay, maybe not... No, not Boba Fett. Like a Han Solo movie where Boba Fett's in it.
Yeah.
But they totally play him like he's the man with no name from the Dollars trilogy by Sergio Leone. You know, just he says very little. He's still mysterious as hell, but just so cool.
I think that's the great thing that people loved about Boba Fett is there's so much you don't know about him.
Yeah.
And I think that worked for Vader. And now that we're, that
we know Vader's motivation, it's just like, no.
It loses his intimidation. Like now when Vader walks in or is referenced in Last Jedi, as he will be, and referenced in Force Awakens, all I think of is, are you an angel? Like that's the same guy in this.
Like there's clearly a very serious arc there that can be told, which I'm okay with, but the execution of it is like Titanic levels of bad.
Right. Obi-Wan's explanation.
And I say Titanic not in reference to size, but of the sinking.
Or both.
No,
it was very large.
But bigger than
this
Titanic.
Amount of sinking.
I would say bigger than Titanic.
50 Titanics.
There you go.
In 50 different parallel universes, all sinking at once.
Yes.
Good.
We
got our description.
There's a Rick and Morty storyline for you.
Oh, great. Oh, yeah, because that's the only show that has alternate realities.
I mean...
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
It's not. But either way, I think Obi-Wan explained it well in A New Hope. He said, Vader was seduced by the dark side, and now he turned to evil. Like, great! We got it. There's a little backstory there, but not too much. And now that we know the whole backstory, also, it doesn't make any sense. Especially, and I don't think we highlight this enough, the last act of Episode 3.
Yeah.
why does he pledge his allegiance to Palpatine?
Just why? I don't know.
Well, because he wants to learn how to save Padme, right?
Right.
He's just like, I can teach you how to save the one you love. And he's like, I love someone, I want to protect them.
But then Padme dies, so it's like, why am I working with you again?
Exactly. There is no reason he should stay with the Sith once Padme dies. He should just be like, you killed her. Dang it. Force blows him away, kills everyone around him, and then, I don't know, probably kills himself out of rage.
I imagine he would just, like, Seppuku the crap out of himself with a lightsaber.
Yeah.
It's like...
Wouldn't it be better grievances if he, like, hated the Jedi more for their ideology, which they kind of touch on, but
yeah,
it's kind of the Save Martha moment at the end of Dawn of Justice. It's like you had the potential to have a character,
but then they said something stupid. And it's like,
but then it's, I can save the one you love. Yes, there's attack. My wall is sharp. There's also a sword on my side. That's why I don't lean my head back.
I wanted to go for a dramatic dunk, and I was like, ow. It poked me. Your wall poked my head.
You have done that yourself. Ewan's great.
He really is.
Also, it contradicts the do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah.
Then Obi-Wan says, only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Yeah.
But two different things, but there's no reason for Darth Vader to stay with the Sith, as he does. So now, like, all of the original movies are like, why is he here?
Yeah.
Didn't he just want to save his girlfriend? Mm-hmm. And now he's like, well, I can't, so...
Don't forget the infamous no scene that just kind of wimpified him to no end. It's like...
Why is he so okay with killing his children?
I don't know.
He didn't care, like, he knew Padme was
I'd be more concerned with why is he... Well, actually, no, because it goes back to the killing thing. I was going to say, how come he has, like, no problem pretty much maiming Luke's hand off?
Son.
I feel like even if I was mad at my own kid, I would still be like, oh, son, I'm so sorry. Oh, damn, that's gotta hurt.
Well, like, if he didn't know...
Actually, no, I might be
knew...
be terrible about it, because I'd be like,
okay.
I have no actual limbs anymore. You'll be fine without a hand.
Here's the thing with the prequels. They are full of plot holes.
Yeah.
They are pretty useless. They have infinite problems and annoyances, like scenes just being flat out unentertaining.
Yeah.
But if I just look at the reasoning behind why you'd make them, Anakin knows that his wife is going to die in childbirth, but nowhere in his vision does it say the children die. So why would he leave his children after knowing that his wife... Why wouldn't he be like...
He's a really horrible father.
Oh, my kids. I'm gonna raise them. Screw the Jedi.
Yeah.
So the universe they built up Anakin in made no sense, which I think is just proof that Lucas wasn't designing the whole trilogy at once. They just got, like, the Lucasfilm stamp of approval. New trilogy. But at the same time, it's like this is a necessary evil. As in, could Star Wars be as popular if the prequels were good?
This is like going from the Enlightenment to the Dark Ages and then back to like a new wave of stuff, essentially.
Like, do you think Star Wars would be as talked about or like entertaining if the prequels were just good?
Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think it would.
The fact that there's something to debate about now.
Yeah.
Which, of course, it's nearly 20 years old and we're still talking about it.
Yeah.
And there's still plenty of things people are just discovering. Some good, some bad, like the ring theory. They relate to each other.
No. Yes, they have a linear continuity is how they relate. There's no ring. Stop it.
Did you hear that there was a petition to let Lucas direct Episode 9?
Oh. Okay. No.
Would that be worse than Colin Trevorrow?
I would force choke anybody who signed off on that.
You being Kylo Ren turning around slowly and then pulling out the lightsaber and killing?
No, I would just destroy the table and then probably all equipment that they were going to give Lucas. Be like, get someone else.
Right. You go storm outside.
I'd be like, he cannot touch these cameras.
Yeah. You see all these protesters in the street. It's like, oh, is that about Trump? No. It's about bringing Lucas back to Lucasfilm to direct.
Who do you think would have the better turnout? Do you think it'd be Lucas?
Yeah. I think people are more passionate about that at this time.
I feel like in the current political climate...
Well, I mean, Trump's president. You can't change that right now.
This is true, but...
We can change who directs episode 9.
I would love to see, like, some stereotypical person on the left and somebody wearing a... the full freaking Trump supporter getup.
Yeah.
They're just both holding up a sign that says, "Burn Lucas!"
Yeah, they're both working together.
It's like,
everyone's rallying up.
We need a common enemy.
That unites everyone. But do you think
they just burn Jar Jar in effigy?
No more. But this is like the reason the cast was so okay with, because the cast is so good in the prequels. I wouldn't be mad if they brought back Hayden Christensen for a Last Jedi, like, what do you call it? Force Ghost?
Cameo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
that's continually who would play Vader.
How weird would it be if you saw him talk but he sounded like James Earl Jones?
No, doesn't work. I mean, he doesn't have the vocal thing, so it wouldn't logically make sense that he
That's one of those things that kind of, like, I know a lot of purists get bugged by the special editions for small changes, and some of them are quite jarring. I understand your concern.
Who shot first being the biggest.
Like, I don't... Yeah. Han. I don't hate the idea of a few things, but I hated how, like, in Return of the Jedi, they changed it to where it wasn't, like...
Some old man?
Yeah, but it was actually Hayden Christensen. So I was like, no.
Well,
that's not how that should work. He aged.
Right, but couldn't you say that Anakin died on Mustafar and Vader was born, like Obi-Wan said?
Yeah, also yes.
You could make that parallel. I just don't want to see some old guy as Vader in Last Jedi. If he is going to appear to Luke or something. Like, if they brought back Hayden, I'd be okay with it.
If they brought it back Hayden, I hope they, like, prosthetic up his face at least. And, like, make it look like him, but, like, noticeably aged.
You could put, like a wig.
That's fine.
The wig to give his hair back.
He's got a skull cap.
No, they bring back Jake Lloyd. They pull him out of psychiatric prison. And
yeah, isn't he in jail?
For street racing, ironically. Now, this is pod racing.
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
It's very sad that the prequels completely destroyed his life. Apparently, he was made fun of in school and bullied, and then he started hearing voices in his head.
Poor guy.
So, wonder how George feels about that. Like,
he probably doesn't care.
He got his money.
Let's be real. He doesn't care.
He got his money. But it'd be interesting to get a side-by-side of all the people who have played Vader now.
Yeah.
And they're all out of their 20s at least. But do you think that, given that we're going to see a new Star Wars film about every year now, maybe more, could we get back to prequel levels of suck?
I don't know if we could easily, because...
Tough question.
Because I think all these people are going to be paid enough to be like, all right, just don't suck. And they're going to do their best to make sure everything is great. And there's probably going to be, like, a laundry list of people who are going to have to go through this to make sure that it is, in fact, at least passable. Yeah. And not prequel level, but...
What you got to give the prequels credit for is being original. When people say that Star Wars, Force Awakens or Rogue One, they're not new stories, they're just catering to the originals. Yeah. Well, you got original with the prequels.
Yeah.
Like, those were...
And that sucked.
They expanded the universe. They definitely don't follow the beats of the originals. And this is what happens when we stray from the formula.
Yeah.
So...
You get Phantom Menace.
I wouldn't say it's impossible that we get to that point again. But I think when we do, it's going to be a big sign for Disney to say, like, okay, we got to cool it.
Yeah, we're hitting it too hard. We got to stop.
Right, because it's like, as long as we keep watching them, they're going to keep making them. And I feel like after this new trilogy, it's going to lose some of its steam again.
Yeah.
And people are going to be like, I've seen Star Wars every year for the past 9 years. Yeah. I'm kind of ready for something else.
I would hope that after episode 9, that they would just be like, all right, we'll ease off for a bit. That's enough for like a good 15 years.
Sadly, I don't think that'll happen.
Because once they see something, they have to destroy it.
Because I'm pretty sure that between each episode, there's another solo film. Not Han Solo, I just mean like independent
I was gonna say.
Star Wars film. And I think that, the next one is Han Solo. And then I think the one after that, I don't know if it's been decided yet. But I think they talked about bringing back Ewan McGregor for a Kenobi standalone.
I would love them to do that.
That would be okay with. If that's the one thing you make after 9, go for it.
Yes.
I've got tons of ideas.
Ewan McGregor needs to come back.
I know. And he said he'd be interested in it.
I remember you were telling me about that one idea for a Obi-Wan movie where it's just...
Yes.
I hope that would be what would happen.
May I repeat it?
Do it.
Okay.
It's a prequel talk. May as well talk about it now.
So you have a young alien of some sort wandering through the desert with that eerie...
Yeah.
He is in the middle of sand people attack or sandstorm or whatever. We get an Alec Guinness-like voice bringing him to Obi-Wan's original house, saves him there, and he's like, "Who are you? Why are you here?" Yeah. And we start explaining the backstories of both Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi before the Phantom Menace. But it's being told from Obi-Wan right after Episode 3 took place. So he can still be Ewan.
Right.
Please no CG Alec Guinness. You gotta cool it with that.
Yeah.
Disney, especially in Pirates.
Just because you can do facial reconstruction doesn't mean you should.
And when they do, they always want to be so upfront about it.
Yeah.
They can never be like, "There's the face."
Obscure that.
Usually when they redesign the whole face, there's the shot that goes, "Look what we can do!"
Yeah.
They even did that at Pirates, and I thought that was some of the best young de-aging I've ever seen. I was like, it looks like young Johnny Depp. He may have just shaved.
And then they also did that in Civil War, didn't they, with Robert Downey Jr.?
Yeah, that was okay.
Yeah, that looks like he kind of did in the 80s.
It's noticeable that it's animated, but
there's one
they just gotta. Every time they do it, they want to get way up close and show you how good they are at it.
There's one I can think of.
Really
I think it was in Gladiator when like an actor died. They had to bring it. They brought in a CG face for like a scene, and
I bet it was unnoticeable.
It was eerie.
Oh really?
Well, like it didn't look, but like you knew he was already dead when they did that, and it's like
I didn't. I can't think of it. I've seen Gladiator. Do you know which character it is?
I can't remember his name.
Huh. Well, Gladiator had pretty good effects for the time.
Yeah, it did.
But
I may actually have to watch it at some point.
Huh. But yeah, if you're just don't shove it in front of the entire screen.
Yeah.
Do it. But either way, you follow the adventures of Obi-Wan being trained by Kenobi, and this is not 3 movies. This is 1. And then
this is a movie, singular.
You can bring back Liam Neeson. You don't have to waste your really talented actor as a Jedi Master in one role. You can expand on his character, his relation to Obi-Wan. There's no love interests involved. This is just buddy Jedi story, and he goes on adventures with him, and he disagrees with him, and he learns things. And then at the end, it turns out that the guy wandering through the desert is actually disguised as a Sith Lord, and Ewan has to have one more fight with him, and it's like a close one. But like the grand finale of the movie is Obi-Wan fighting that dude in the desert. Pulls out Luke's lightsaber, which it's not his yet, but at the time he has it.
Yeah.
And we get one last lightsaber duel from perfectly old Ewan McGregor out in the desert, and he wins. And then it's like, and you know the rest.
Yeah.
It just starts.
It shows him doing that.
Yeah, you could even start it just with that. Literally like Rogue One, seconds before it starts. Or not, whatever. They won't do that. It's too smart. But
it'd be great though.
I'd be okay with that.
Yep.
So do you have any more thoughts on the should they or should they not exist?
They should.
We need them.
It's kind of like you have to first come across smallpox before you can make a cure for it. Before you can like make the vaccine.
The prequels are a vaccine. It's
no,
like, okay, look.
No. The prequels are the smallpox. Force Awakens and the like are the vaccine.
So like, we need to know how to not do it in order to make it great. Mm-hmm. So now when we're making new Star Wars films, we can be like, what not to do?
Yeah.
Which, if the prequels were great,
I think that's
we
actually
wouldn't
better.
have that.
That's probably a better metaphor than I could have thought, because a vaccine is just a dead virus.
Yeah.
But in some cases, that virus can still be active, and you might still be screwed. Mm-hmm. So that could be very well what we got here with all these new Star Wars movies.
Which I think are great.
They're great, but there's always that chance.
And I think the issue they're going to have to deal with is departing themselves from the originals. They're catering way too closely. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when Carrie Fisher's gone now, Mark Hamill, sorry, I don't know what that was, probably is going to die in 8 or 9, probably 9. That's when they get their full separation from the originals. But I guess they're still making Han Solo movies, so I think that's going to be the next problem. It's like, these movies are enjoyable, but just go on to something else now. Try at least to do something original and good, unlike the prequels, which was original, suck. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I think we need them.
Yeah.
To show that this is a great pop culture phenomenon that needs to be taken carefully.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't just mess with it. Like, don't, or whatever. I mean,
don't just throw CG effects at it.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what George did. Just think he knows what the future of filmmaking will be. Therefore, green screen everything.
Yeah.
And then you look at it
Then
now
you
and
have
you're like,
the factories on Geonosis.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah. Have you seen the Battlefront 2 trailer?
I have not.
It looks better than the prequels. It's fantastic.
Yes.
And that game is entirely animated. Mm-hmm. And it looks better. You know, George at least used 0.0001% actual footage of human beings.
They just didn't use any human beings. Well, no.
They casted actors.
If I know that developer like I did, they probably had somebody come in for some mocap.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it is. But like the robots in Naboo, that looks amazing. Not true. This isn't gaming.
Did I ever tell you I got Uncanny Valley feelings just from Admiral Akbar's face?
The CG
in Battlefront.
And that's not even real.
That's not even real to begin with. But I was like,
that's not correct.
No,
that's not Akbar. Yeah, but don't be afraid to use puppets, Disney. They don't look that bad.
Puppets are great.
I'd rather have
Yoda.
We
all like Sesame Street as children. We like the Muppets.
They seem to want to do puppet bodies, but then animate the faces. And I'm like, no, you got some robots. You got some robotics. Just make some robot faces.
Yep. It
looks great.
It's awesome.
So, the future is bright from Star Wars.
Yes.
Hopefully, because the worst is behind.
Hopefully. This has been Dandrew. Thanks for coming by. We'll see you all in the next video. See you later.
Take care.